Secondary Education Commission. The Government of India set up the Secondary Education Commission by resolution dated 23rd September 1952. The Secondary Education Commission, also known as Mudaliar Commission, was established by the Government of India on September 23, 1952. It was chaired by Dr. A. Lakshmanasamy Mudaliar, who was the then Vice Chancellor of Madras University. The commission was officially inaugurated on October 6, 1952. Under the chairmanship of Dr. A. Lakshmanasamy Mudaliar, the Vice Chancellor of Madras University. Context of the commission. Dr. A. Lakshmanasamy Mudaliar. Recommendation. On September 23, 1952, the Commission on Academic and Technical Education provided recommendations that were likely aimed at improving educational policies and practices. Methods of inquiry. Questionnaire method. Distributing questionnaires to collect data and opinions from various stakeholders. Interview method. Conducting interviews with individuals to gain deeper insight into educational issues. Publication of report. The Commission's findings and recommendations were published in a report on August 29, 1953. The report was comprehensive, spanning 20 to 44 pages and divided into 14 chapters detailing various aspects of the educational system and proposed reforms. Who was the chairman of Secondary Education Commission? Dr. A. Lakshmanasamy Mudaliar, the Vice Chancellor of Madras University, was the chairman of Secondary Education Commission. When was the Secondary Education Commission appointed? The commission was appointed on 23rd September 1952. What was the terms of reference of Secondary Education Commission? Assessment of existing system. Examine the current state of secondary education in India, including the strength and weakness of existing system. Reorganization. Purpose measures to reorganize secondary education to improve its effectiveness, efficiency and relevance. Improvement strategy. Suggests ways to enhance the quality of secondary education, including curriculum development, teacher training and infrastructure improvement. Next, educational objectives. Consider the objectives of secondary education in relation to national goals and societal needs. Aims of secondary education. Development of democratic citizenship. Secondary education helps students to understand and participate in democratic process. This involves teaching them about civic responsibilities, rights and the functioning of government, encouraging them to be informed, active citizenship who can contribute positively to their communities. Initiation into the art of living. This aims to equip students with life skills and values necessary for personal well-being and effective social interaction. It includes teaching self-management, emotional intelligence and interpersonal skills, enabling students to navigate the complexities of adult life successfully. Development of personality. Secondary education focuses on helping students discover and develop their individual identities, interests and talents. Improvement of vocational efficiency. This aim is to prepare students for the workforce by developing practical skills and knowledge relevant to various careers. It includes career counseling, technical skills training, and the development of a strong work ethic to enhance employability and professional success. Education for leadership. Secondary education seeks to cultivate leadership qualities such as decision making, problem solving, and the ability to inspire and motivate others. Development of true patriotism. This involves fostering a genuine love and respect for one's nation. It includes teaching students about national history, values, and cultural heritage, encouraging them to contribute to societal progress and uphold national ideals. Aim of appointment: to inquire into the problems of secondary education. This involves investigating the current challenges and issues facing secondary education system, including curriculum relevance, teaching methods, and student outcome. The aims, organization, and content of secondary education. This focus on understanding the goals of secondary education, how it's structured, and what content is delivered to students. It examines whether these elements are aligned with educational goals. Its relationship to primary and higher education. This look at how secondary education connects with and builds upon primary education and prepares students for higher education or occasional path. Objectives of Commission: to produce democratic citizenship, to foster a sense of civic responsibility and engagement among students, preparing them to participate effectively in a democratic society, to develop occasional efficiency, to equip students with the skill and knowledge necessary for successful careers and professional development, to develop quality leadership, to nurture leadership qualities in students, preparing them to take on roles of responsibility and influence within their communities and beyond, to develop personality, to support the overall growth of students' character and self-awareness, helping them become well-rounded individuals. Clear thinking, clearness in speech and writing, love for social justice, encouraging students to understand and advocate for social justice, promoting fairness and equality in society. True patriotism, instilling a genuine sense of pride and commitment to one's country, balanced with a sense of global responsibility. Education for community living, teaching students the importance of community involvement and cooperation, emphasizing the role of education in fostering social harmony. Spirit of tolerance, promoting respect and acceptance of diverse perspectives and cultures, encouraging students to live harmoniously with others. World citizenship, prepare students to be responsible global citizens who are aware of and engaged with global issues and cultures. Structure of secondary education. Primary or junior basic education should include 4 or 5 years. This should encompass 4 to 5 years of schooling. A middle or junior secondary stage which covers a period of 3 years. This should last for 3 years, typically covering grades 6 to 8. Higher secondary stage. This should span 4 years, covering grades 9 to 12. Abolition of intermediate classes. The Commission recommended the abolition of intermediate classes 11-12 as separate stages and instead proposed a more integrated approach where the higher secondary stage would cover a broad span of years. Curriculum. Compulsory subjects. The curriculum should include essential subjects to provide a well-rounded education. These typically include languages, mathematics, science, and social studies. Optional subjects. Students should have the flexibility to choose from a range of optional subjects based on their interest and career aspirations. Compulsory subjects. 3 languages should be taught in schools. The Commission recommended that students should learn 3 languages. This policy aimed to ensure students acquire proficiency in their mother tongue, an official language, and an additional language to foster broader communication skills and cultural understanding. At primary school stage, the curriculum should include general science with arithmetic. For the first 2 years of primary education, the curriculum should include basic general science and arithmetic. This approach introduces students to fundamental scientific concepts and numerical skills early on. Social science. Similarly, a general course in social science is recommended for the first 2 years. This would provide young students with a foundational understanding of their society and environment. Middle school stage, the curriculum should include languages. Continued focus on language learning, expanding students' proficiency and understanding. Social studies, a more in-depth study of social science to build on the foundation laid in primary school. General science, continued emphasis on scientific knowledge and inquiry. Mathematics. Mathematics is introduced at this stage to build analytical and problem solving skills. Art and music. Inclusion of art and music to foster creativity and cultural appreciation. Craft. Practical skills and hands-on learning through craft activities. Physical education. Importance of physical fitness and activities is recognized to promote overall health and well-being. High school, pre-higher secondary. Core curriculum language. General science, social studies and craft. Compulsory subject. Students must study language, general science, social studies and craft. These subjects are mandatory for all students at the pre-higher secondary stage, ensuring a broad base of fundamental knowledge and skill. Optional. At a more advanced level, students can choose 3 subjects from a selection of 7 groups. Each group represents a different field of study, allowing students to specialize based on their interest and career goals. Optional subject: science group, humanities, home science group, commerce group, technical group, agriculture group, fine arts group. One of the following occasional subjects: carpentry, gardening, printing, embroidery and cutting, smithy. Methods of teaching. Activity method. This approach emphasizes learning through active participation and hands-on activities. Students engage in activities like experiments, projects, or role-playing to explore concepts and develop skills. Project method. This method involves students working on projects that require them to apply knowledge and skills in real world scenarios. Projects often promote deeper understanding and critical thinking by allowing students to investigate and solve complex problems. Experimental method. This approach based on the scientific method where students form hypotheses, conduct experiments and analyze results. It encourages inquiry-based learning and helps students understanding scientific concepts through direct experience. Demonstration. This method, the teacher demonstrates a concept or process, often through practical examples or visual aids. Students observe and learn from the demonstration, which helps them grasp abstract ideas more concretely, improving the system of examination and evaluation. External examination. These are standardized tests administered by external bodies or organizations that ensure consistency and fairness in assessing student performance across different schools or regions. Introducing objective tests. Objective tests such as multiple choices or true or false questions provide a clear and measurable way to evaluate student knowledge. They help reduce subjectivity in grading and can cover a broad range of material. Rational understanding. This involves assessing students' understanding of concepts in a logical and coherent manner. It emphasizes comprehension and the ability to apply knowledge rather than rote memorization. School records. School records include detailed documentation of a student's academic performance, attendance, and behavioral observations. They provide a comprehensive view of a student's progress over time. Grading the work. This refers to the process of evaluating and assigning scores or grades to students' work based on predetermined criteria. Grading helps communicate how well students have met learning objectives. 1. Public examination. A single comprehensive examination administered to assess the overall performance of students at a particular stage. Often used as a benchmark for further education or certification. Subsequent examination. The Mudaliar Commission was an Indian education commission that recommended reforms in the education system, including changes to examination and evaluation methods to improve the effectiveness and fairness. Merits of Commission. Activity based education. Emphasized learning through activities and practical experiences rather than rote memorization, fostering a more engaging and effective educational experience. Stress on agricultural education. Highlighted the importance of agricultural education to promote rural development and provide practical skills relevant to the majority of India's population. Discussion on aims of secondary education. Addressed the goals of secondary education, ensuring that it aligns with the broader educational objectives of personal development and societal needs. Child centered education. Advocated for an education system focused on the needs and interests of the child, encouraging a more personalized and responsive approach to teaching. Improvement in teachers' salary and position. Recommended better pay and improved status for teachers to enhance their motivation and effectiveness. Co-curricular activities. Promoted the inclusion of extracurricular activities as an essential part of education, recognizing their role in the holistic development of students. No more stress on external examination. Suggested reducing the emphasis on external exams and instead focusing on continuous and comprehensive assessment methods. Stress on multi-purpose schools. Proposed the establishment of schools that serve multiple functions, creating to various educational and community needs within a single institution. Suggestion to open technical schools near industries. Recommended setting up technical school close to industrial areas to provide practical skills and training relevant to local industries, enhancing job readiness and economic development. Demerits of the Commission. Hastiness. The recommendations were made hasty, leading to unresolved problems in the education system. Lack of focus on social and economic conditions. There were no new suggestions for improving the social and economic conditions of teachers who play a crucial role in the educational system. Neglect of women's education. The Commission did not provide specific recommendations for enhancing women's education and important aspects of educational reforms. Emphasis on English. The Commission's emphasis on English continued, which may have detracted from the promotion of regional languages and the development of a more inclusive curriculum. Overburden and diverse curriculum. The curriculum was considered overloaded and diverse, which could overwhelm students and hinder effective learning. No clear suggestion for English. There were no clear guidelines on how to address the teaching of English, leaving ambiguity in language instruction policies. Costly multi-purpose school. The suggestion was to establish multi-purpose schools seen as financially burdensome, potentially limiting their implementation. Ill-defined structure of secondary education. The Commission's recommendations on the structure of secondary education were not clearly defined, leading to confusion and difficulties in implementation. How many members did the Commission had besides the chairman? The Commission had 8 members besides the chairman. What is the alternative name for Secondary Education Commission? Secondary Education Commission is also known as Mudaliar Commission. What were the aims of secondary education as put forward by Secondary Education Commission? Aims of secondary education as put forward by Secondary Education Commission were development of democratic citizenship, improvement of occasional efficiency, development of personality, and education for leadership. How did the Secondary Education Commission modify the existing traditional structure of school education? Traditional structure of education had been 4 to 5 years of primary education, followed by middle school education of 3 years, followed by 2 years high school education leading to matriculation examination. The Secondary Education Commission modified the 2 years high school education and substituted it with 4-year higher secondary education, and later Central Advisory Board of Education approved 3 years higher secondary education instead of 4 years, thus making it 11 years school education is total. How did the Commission divide the 7 years of secondary education? It divided 7 years of education into 2 parts: the middle or junior or senior basic stage, which would cover a period of 3 years, a higher secondary stage, which should cover a period of 4 years. So middle or junior secondary 3 years, higher secondary stage which would cover 4 years. What changes did Commission brought about in intermediate stage of education? The Commission recommended that intermediate stage should be replaced by higher secondary stage, which should be of 3-year duration. 1 year of the present intermediate being included in it, that is, the senior intermediate class 12th class should be combined with the degree class, and the junior intermediate class 11th with high school. What were the major recommendations as given by Secondary Education Commission? The major recommendations as given by Secondary Education Commission were new organizational pattern of education, technical and occasional education, multilateral and multi-purpose school, need for diversification of courses, inspection of school, management of school, school building and equipment, etc. What was the curriculum as envisaged by Secondary Education Commission? The curriculum as envisaged by Secondary Education Commission included languages, social studies, craft education, three subjects to be chosen among the following groups: humanities, science, technical, commercial, agriculture, fine arts, and home science. What were the various types of craft education recommended by the Commission as a part of curriculum? Spinning and weaving, woodwork, metalwork, gardening, tailoring, typography, workshop practices, sewing, needlework, and embroidery, model. What were the reason for the establishment of multilateral and multi-purpose schools as recommended by Commission, Secondary Education Commission? As per the Secondary Education Commission, these schools should be established to provide varied types of courses for students with diverse aims, interests, and abilities. These schools also endeavors to provide for each individual pupil suitable opportunities to use and develop his natural aptitude and inclination in the special course of studies chosen by him. What recommendations were given by the Commission pertaining to management of school? The Commission recommended that the management boards of all schools should be registered and should consist of a limited number of persons, with headmaster as an ex officio member, and no member of the managing board should be directly or indirectly interfere with the internal administration of the school. What recommendations were given by the Commission pertaining to finance? The Commission recommended that a cess called the industrial education cess be levied and amount collected should be utilized for the furtherance of technical and occasional education of the secondary stage, and also the center should assume a certain amount of direct responsibility for the contemplated reorganization of secondary education and give financial aid for the purpose.